I want to start our first real lesson with the honest moment this all began for me. For a long time, my desk looked like a library of good intentions. It was stacked with books on mindset, on habits, on focus. Books that I knew held the answers I was looking for. I was great at the part where you gather the information. But when it came to actually living it, I was a professional procrastinator. I was trapped in this massive, frustrating gap between the person I was studying to be and a person who was actually showing up every day. And that gap felt like carrying a secret. It felt like carrying a private failure. And that's when I had a big realization. One that changed everything. I was trying to climb this huge mountain of self-improvement completely alone. And it just doesn't work. At least for me. So, this channel is my solution. It's my way of keeping my commitment to stop to try to do this in private. It's my own way of being the first one to take a step on this path and then share what I find. The footing that's solid, the ropes that actually hold, and all the times I inevitably stumble. This is where you and I close the gap together. And the very first step on that climb is answering the most fundamental question you can ask. If I am the one who is aware of my anxious thoughts, then who am I really? And this question isn't just about anxious thoughts. It applies to any thoughts. Happy, worried, or random. But we are going to start with anxious ones because they are the ones that hold the most power over us. And to understand the answer, we have to look at how our brain works. Neuroscientists have identified a specific network in our brain called the default mode network, DMN. Think of it as your brain's background apps. When you are not actively focused on a task, this network automatically turns on. And its only job is to think about you. It replays the past, it worries about the future, it narrates your problems. This constant stream of self-referential chatter, the voice in your head, is not a personal flaw. It's a biological feature. It's your brain's DMN doing exactly what it evolved to do. Now, let's use an analogy that can make this real. Imagine your true self. Your core consciousness is the sky. The default mode network, these endless streams of thoughts and emotion it generates, is simply the weather. Now the problem is, most of us live our entire lives believing we are the weather. When the DMN produces a storm of anxiety, we become the storm. But the thing is, we are not the weather. You are not the weather. You are the sky. You are the silent, unchanging space in which the weather happens. That separation is where all your power lies. Now, this profound shift is explored perfectly in the book The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. His entire work is a guide to finding what he calls your seat of consciousness, that place of the silent observer that exists behind the weather of the mind. He captures this perfectly in one line. There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. That voice of the mind he's talking about, that's the output of your default mode network. Singer's work is a manual for how to stop identifying with it, to stop being a storm, and to remember that you are the sky. So, how do we practice being the sky? We start with a 7-day thought awareness journal. Now, before I explain the steps, it is very important that we frame the goal of this exercise correctly. Think of this first week not as a workout, but as your initial assessment. We are not trying to change the weather. We are simply building our first mental weather station to get an honest reading of what's actually happening inside. The only goal here is to gather data. With that in mind, let's carry on with the practice. A few times a day, just stop for 60 seconds and write down the answer to this question. What is the weather in my mind right now? Is it anxious? Or replaying that conversation? Quiet. You can answer it in that manner. Now, for the moment of friction, because your goal is simply to conduct an assessment, your fixed it programming will revolt. When a worry appears, you will feel an urgent need to solve it. Your only job is to resist that urge. This week, you are just a scientist, simply noting the data. The win is not a calm mind. The win is a completed assessment. It's the moment a thought appears and you feel the pull to engage with it, but you just let it be. You just write down anxious or hungry. That moment of neutral observation is this entire practice. This practice of noticing is the first piece of solid ground on our climb. It proves through your own direct experience that you and your thoughts are two separate things. But then imagine if a thought could appear and instead of hijacking your entire day, you could just calmly let it go. That skill of intentional detachment, the actual workout for building this mental muscle, is the exact challenge we take on in episode 2 of Mastering the Mind. The video is waiting for you right here. And if you want to see the full blueprint for this entire series, the complete map for our climb, you can explore the Mastering the Mind playlist right here. This is a journey we are going to be on together. If it's a project you want to be a part of, consider subscribing to join the build. Thank you for being here. I am Jean Lewis, and let's grow together, one thought at a time.